Okay, so it's nice and early. Hanging out with my mate. He's currently 6 weeks old, but he's in 3-month-old clothes. He's a big boy. Yeah, it's good. I don't know why I said it's good. Doesn't mean anything. He's a big kid. It's good. There you go. Anyway, so I realised last night that as I was in bed, that I was just knackered, hey. So I was like, oh, well, I forgot to record yesterday's episode, so so I'm going to do that, and then tonight I'll record today's. So, yeah, Sterling's been waking up tons during the night, like he was good, and then he's just gone hectic and sweet. So, yeah, we woke for like a good few hours, and yeah, in the middle of the night, Beck, I woke up and Beck wasn't here in the room, and I was like, hey, and I went to the toilet, and so looked around the house, and I was just like, if usually she's like sitting in the lounge room or something, and she just was nowhere. Went into the office and found her editing photos with him on her lap. I was like, babe, what are you doing? And she's like, he's just not going back to sleep. Yeah, that sucks. So yeah, as I was getting back in bed, Tilly came in and reckons that she had a bad dream, and so she asked if she could jump in bed, and I was like, yeah, of course. But I said to her, I was like, listen, I need to go back to sleep, so I'm not going to have any wriggling. If you're going to wriggle and make heaps of noise, you're back in your bed. You can stay in my bed, but all good, but just be considerate. And to her credit, man, she's so good. She literally did not move an inch, and she fell back asleep. It was really nice. It was really nice. I actually quite cherish those moments, hey. So yeah, Beck came back to bed, and Tilly went and jumped in her bed, and yeah, and then Lex came in. So a bit later on, it was probably like early morning, and Stills was awake, so I was like sitting there getting him back to sleep, just because Beck had fed him and done all that sort of thing, and he just needed to go to sleep. So I said to Lexi, I was like, should we go for a drive? Like he just wasn't going back to sleep, and she's like, yeah. So we chucked him in the car and went for a drive, and we just drove. There was no intention. We just were driving, and yeah. And while we were driving, I'm really glad that I didn't just tell Tills to go get back in bed, because while we were driving, Lex was telling me that Tilly actually got out of her bed, went and jumped in bed with her, and Lexi was like, yeah, of course, like, yeah, I can give you a cuddle, and so they jumped in bed, and Lex cuddled her, and then Lex gave Tilly her nightlight and said, you should, go see Dad. So it's really cool, just see, one, the girls looking after each other, but also it's not their responsibility to look after each other like that. They do a good job looking out for each other, but they're not meant to parent each other. And so I'm really glad that Tilly came and saw me. So I drove around with Sterling for as long as possible until Beck replied to my messages. Then we went and got her coffee and came back. So one thing Lex wanted to do while we were out and about, though, was find kangaroos. And it's funny, you can just see, like, in those moments, man, she loves it, hey. She absolutely just loves those times together. So, yeah, so it was really cool. Yeah, so we went and found these kangaroos, and we didn't find them, but we went up around the golf course, because there's always kangaroos on the golf course and stuff, and yeah, so it was cool. Then it came back and spent a fair bit of time sorting out our finances. Yeah, I've really not looked at our personal finances for the last probably 2 months, which I know is incredibly neglectful. But yeah, just finished getting on top of those in the morning, just making sure, like we're on budget, and we're a bit over, but it's good to always like dive into it and just realize, okay, well, we're overspending here and we're spending here fine and all that sort of stuff. So, yeah, and then I had a meeting around lunch with these guys who specialize in open book management and implementation in businesses, and really, really cool. It was really, really cool. I think one of the things that really surprised me was so funny. She got off the call with me and then jumped straight on the call with a mate of mine who's looking at implementing it in his business too. And I think the thing that really surprised me was the versatility of it and how well it yeah, and like the image that was painted to me. Oh goodness! The image that was painted to me was you have to follow this like set structure, and they've found this formula that really, really works. But it's actually a lot more versatile than that, which is really cool. So speaking with a mate of mine afterwards, who had the meeting with her as well, realizing that that there's so few businesses in Australia actually doing this. Maybe open book management for sure, but the whole structure where it's gamified and and you're involving everyone at a grassroots level, and like, I'm so sorry about the sniffing. Yeah, and it was super super interesting. Hey, so yeah, so that was a really good meeting. I'm pretty confident we're going to engage them just with like the strategization and rollout. And the only reason is there's been a few things that we thought would be good ideas to add, well, to use in the process, which, as we've been learning about it, and the guys who implemented it, they were like, no, you actually create division by doing these. I was like, oh, okay, makes sense. And that's just runs on the board and experience talking there. So you're very awake and very windy. So yeah, no, it was a really good meeting. And there's a bloke in Darwin I'm hoping to speak to who has implemented it, and from all accounts has had some met with some pretty good success because of it. So yeah, so then Beck wasn't getting anywhere with getting Sterling down to sleep, and he's just been super restless. So she brought him in with me, and I was stuck motionless on this seat in the one position for God knows how long. Hey, gosh. And yeah, and when I went to go stand up, I felt like I was good. I stood up, and man, obviously post vasectomy. Post vasectomy, man, my balls hurt. And even now, hey, man, it hurts like a mofo. So, yeah. Yeah, so then I made this daily review scorecard because in one of the previous episodes I said how I want to use this daily reflection thing as a means of checking where things are going, so actually like using it to move the needle forward rather than document my day and give the warm fuzzies. Well, I also just want to go, well, am I following through on the things I say that are important to me or not? It was kind of hard to quantify some of these things. Hey, some of them not, or just trying to work out how to quantify it. So, for instance, one of the things I think is important is drinking water. So I've got I want to drink 3 liters of water a day. At the moment, my calorie target's 1,500 calories, which, truth be told, hasn't been hard to stick to. It might be different when I start training. So I think I went over by 100 calories yesterday or something. You alright, champion? Yeah, you're good. Weight-wise, I've gone up a little bit. I'm like just over 104, so still I'm happy with that considering I came down from 108. I want to reduce screen time to 15 minutes. I want to work out for an hour, so a little bit in both in the morning and the arvo. Not 2 hours, just an hour. Hey. You're okay. Buddy boy. Bud. Come on. There you go. Yeah, so then educating myself on business, I think I can do 2 hours a day. And usually I try and slip that in when the kids are napping and stuff. And then I don't want any discretionary spending, like intentional spending, sure, but, on a whim and stuff, nah. And then just, this is one of the hard ones to quantify, and I think that I kind of just have to run with gut check and be honest with myself, is around, have I been really present with people? I want to start every morning with Beck and some sort of meditation or prayer or something. Ice bath. Finish the day with a tidy house. Read a chapter of a book. Clear my to-do list and plan tomorrow. And so if I... Bud. Hush. Oh, goodness me. So that's what I'm going to be using to measure my days with. And then what I've done is I've also done like, okay, so that's my target, what's my actual, and then my percentage of whether I achieved it or not, and then I guess percentage of the total accuracy toward that goal. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes. I'm curious at least. Might have to iterate it, but yeah, starting with today's reflection. We'll look at that. Family night was last night, and it's always fun. Hey, we ask the kids, what do you want to do? Watch a movie. Okay, what else do you want to do? So Beck got him some pizza, and I had my lamb chops. Oh no, my chicken. So I had chicken breast, and so pizza, and they ran around the backyard and played, and Tilly and Eliza, goodness me, they're either best friends or worst enemies, hey? It's so funny. And last night, fortunately, they were best friends, and it was just so sweet to watch them play, and that was really cool. And so in the end we thought, well, you know what, like, they have done pretty good. We haven't really watched many movies. Let's do a movie. So we chucked a movie on for him, and man, honestly, Beck and I were just so exhausted, eh? Like, eyes are sting. And while I've not been waking in the middle of the night as many times as Beck, obviously, I know that, like, my sleep, like, I've felt it. I've certainly been feeling it a bit more. So we're both feeling a bit tired and opted for a more easy family night. It's funny, hey, so Beck's been feeling pretty distant the last couple of days, and she was saying to us how she doesn't do well with change. Man, it's so funny, eh? Like, I love change, but she really struggles with it, hey? And what'll often happen, in this case, having shaved, my diet's changed heaps. I'm not drinking alcohol. We haven't spent much like time date night. But we haven't done a date night in ages. And all these things, and so there's all the times where we used to like find connection. Like, man, I love alcohol, and what I do love about alcohol is that the people's inhibition goes out the window, and it's just a really easy way to be able to connect with people really fast, and so I think that's great. But she's been feeling really distant, and especially in the last couple of days, and not like, don't do that then. So I might have to wrap this up in a second. But yeah, so for the most part, she's doing well. But yeah, there's a lot of change, and I think when I think around like someone being stretched, maybe she's just not as elastic, if we're going to use those sort of analogies, as I am, and probably just stretching her a bit too fast. So yeah. Anyway, that was that. Cool. Yawning. Goodness me.